University in Niger, Azione Verde University in Imo, Unique Open University in Lagos, and American Open University in Ogun State. Allah also explained that the approvals followed a strict vetting process that cut down 551 pending applications to 79 active requests, with 9 cleared in this phase. The minister noted that many of these universities had waited over 6 years for accreditation, with promoters investing. He blamed the delays on inefficiencies within the National Universities Commission, which have been addressed through reforms. To ensure quality control, the government has also placed a moratorium on new applications for private universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education, unless they meet updated operational standards. Ahead of Saturday's by-elections in Kano State, Resident Electoral Commissioner Abdul Zango has called on security agencies to maintain neutrality and avoid political bias. Speaking at a meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, Zango urged agencies to work together in ensuring a free, fair, and credible process for the Kwara Dantage rerun and Bagwai Shanunu by-elections. He commended post-collaborative efforts that safeguarded elections and stressed the importance of protected voters' rights and ensuring peaceful participation. The Kano State Police Commissioner Ibrahim Bakori has assured citizens of comprehensive security before, during, and after the polls. The meeting reviewed deployment strategies, addressed past challenges, and finalized plans for clearance operations across the state. Representatives from the INEC, the police, army, air force, DSS, NSDC, immigration, customs, NDLEA, FRSC, EFCC, fire service, defense intelligence, NYSC, and other agencies attended the meeting, underlining a broad commitment to secure a credible election. The Youth Arise movement, YAM, has condemned the arrest of 48 students in Bauchi who staged a peaceful protest over worsening security around the campus. The protest, held on Tuesday, sought urgent government intervention following repeated armed robbery attacks targeting students. Instead of engaging with their concerns, security operatives reportedly dispersed the demonstrators with tear gas and detained them. YM National Coordinator, Comrade Babatunde Ademola, described the arrest as a violation of the students' constitutional rights to peaceful assembly and free expression. Ademola stressed that students' call for safety were legitimate and protected under the 1999 Constitution, warning against the suppression of civic voices. YM demanded the immediate release of all detained students, dropping of charges, and an independent probe into the insecurity that prompted the protest. The group urged civil society, academic bodies, and human rights organizations to unite in seeking justice, warning that silencing youth activism undermines democracy and accountability. You're watching Biscon TV News, now business news. Dangote Petroleum Refinery has reached an agreement with petroleum marketers and tanker drivers to distribute fuel through existing channels, easing fears of job losses. The deal followed concerns from the National Oil and Gas Suppliers Association of Nigeria, NOGASA, that Dangote's planned direct-to-consumer supply would disrupt the nationwide distribution network. NOGASA and the National Association of Road Transport Owners, NATO, confirmed that Dangote will sell only to bulk buyers, not end users, preserving the supply chain and protecting existing investments in distribution infrastructure. NOGASA members are now registering on the refinery's portal to purchase products in bulk with 4,000 compressed natural gas-powered trucks set for deployment. Dangote Industries Vice President for Oil and Gas, Dankomba, said the trucks aim to cut logistics costs and pass fuel price reductions to consumers, not displace current players. The move is also seen as an environmentally friendly shift in the petroleum supply chain. You're watching Biscon TV News. Next, foreign news. Over 100 humanitarian organizations, including Oxfam and Médecins Sans Frontières, have accused Israel of weaponizing aid to Gaza as starvation worsens. In a joint letter, they said stricter Israeli regulations have blocked them from delivering essential supplies since March, unless they comply with conditions such as providing staff details and avoiding criticism of Israel. The groups alleged that in July alone, over 68 requests were denied, leaving hospitals without medicine and vulnerable populations facing preventable deaths from hunger and illness. Israel denies imposing unnecessary restrictions, insisting its rules prevent Hamas from diverting supplies. It says nearly 308 trucks enter Gaza daily via registered NGOs, though the UN estimates 600 are needed. Critics argue the new guidelines threaten aid agencies' independence and humanitarian neutrality. The dispute comes as Israel intensifies bombardment of Gaza City in its campaign against Hamas, with health officials reporting tens of thousands killed since the conflict began. Now, sports news. Paris Saint-Germain kick off their Ligue 1 title defense this weekend after a short summer break, buoyed by the Champions League and UEFA Super Cup triumphs. Coach Louis Enrique has said consecutive European titles as a priority, even as PSG remains favourites for a 12th domestic crown in 14 years. The squad has been reinforced with goalkeeper Louis Chaffet and defender Louis Esbrian, but fatigue from a 65-match season could be a factor. Elsewhere, Monaco had signed Paul Pogba on a 2-year deal, giving the 32-year-old a chance to revive his career after injury and a doping ban. Paris FC, backed by the billionaire Arnault family, make their Ligue 1 debut in 35 years, reigniting a capital derby, with PSG Lyon, having survived financial relegation, face budget cuts, while Marseille and Monaco aim to challenge the champions in a season also overshadowed by France's ongoing football broadcast rights crisis. Now, entertainment news. Aviation Minister Festus Keyamo has defended the decision to appoint Fuji music star K1, the ultimate, as an aviation security ambassador, following his recent unruly behavior at the airport. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority reduced Kwamwan's flight ban to 1 month after he showed public remorse, with Keyamo likening the role to community service, a voluntary unpaid position aimed at promoting good conduct among passengers. Keyamo noted that Airline operators are also considering appointing Comfort Emerson, the Ibom Air passenger recently discharged from court, as an ambassador for passenger etiquette. He stressed that such appointments are not privileges but corrective measures to discourage similar incidents. The minister maintained that the decision was fair and consistent with global practices of engaging repentant offenders in public awareness roles. And that's it on Biscon TV News for now. That's produced by Ayomide Animation. My name is BC Olatilo. Thanks very much for watching.
Let's say greeting to him, please. The guest speaker of today, His Excellency, Senator Kashim Shettima Mustafa, the immediate past governor of Borno State, and of course, the vice presidential candidate for the All Progressive Congress. Also on the high table, we have Brother Ambassador Musiliu Obanikoro, former mayor of Lagos, former senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, former ambassador of Nigeria to Ghana. Let's say greetings to him, please. Last but not the least on the high table is Brother Alhaji Mutiu Are, our past chairman. Brother Ayodele Martin Miagbaje, let's say greetings to him. And of course, the chairman of the member, Olaomi Gaspar, MNI, let's say greetings to him. Our elder is here, Brother Baba, and my humble self, Brother Adegbola Dixon, the Honorary General Secretary of the club. Going into the agenda of today, I would want to welcome the chairman of the club, in remarks. Long live the chairman of Yoruba Tennis Club. Long live the vice patrons, trustees, past chairmen, elders of Yoruba Tennis Club. Long live the brethren of Yoruba Tennis Club. sisters of Yoruba Tennis Club, long live our guests. Brethren all, gives me immense joy. Welcome you all, friends and well-wishers who have journeyed from all ends of the country to celebrate with us on this auspicious occasion of our 96th anniversary. Since inception, Yoruba Tennis Club, the well-acclaimed first indigenous social club in Nigeria, house eminent members of the society who have played significant roles in nation building, societal development. Our founding fathers built this organization on the ethos of unity, brotherhood, communal heritage. Every single one of us have collectively nurtured and fostered this bond. That's one thing peculiar to Yoruba Tennis Club. Our wives are automatic members of this club. Call them sisters. We joined to celebrate the essence of our humanity. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, the gentlemen you see donning beautiful white agbada, the signature cap, have collectively preserved this great organization's culture of societal excellence and moral. Today also, we celebrate everyone who have supported us since the journey began in 1926. We have witnessed many seasons of bloom and gloom. Still, we stand with our heads held high, upholding and sustaining the avowed ethos, values, cultures, and traditions of this great organization. To all of you, on behalf of the Vice Patrons, trustees, and members, thank you. Beloved friends, Yoruba has continuously nurtured a platform through lectures and interaction with distinguished personalities who have remarkably impacted on the lives of the people and provided a compass of this society. Club had the privilege of playing host many prominent Nigerians and non-Nigerians who have made their mark both locally and internationally. These eminent personalities, among others, were State Chief Anthony Enahoro, Late Honorable Justice Dr. Akinola Aguda, Excellency Professor Yemi Oshibagi, Excellency Mr. Babajide Rajifashola, SAN, a past Executive Governor of Lagos State, His Royal Majesty Igwe Alfred Nameka Chebe, the Obi of Onitsha. Our guest speakers are, Your Excellency, I want you to note that also this club hosted His Excellency Malam Isa Yuguda, the past executive governor of Bauchi State, as a special guest. In fact, I can tell you, Your Excellency, that Brother Isa Yuguda is a member of this club. He was duly initiated into the membership of this club. Today, we are hosting the immediate past governor of Borno State, His Excellency Senator Kashim Shettima Mustafa, an effective consensus builder who has a deep understanding of Nigeria and its complexities. A man who drove remarkable developments despite the insurgency witnessed during his second term in office. As the governor, Your Excellency, we thank you for honoring our invitation as a guest speaker at this 96th anniversary of the Yoruba Tennis Club. We thank you all once again for joining us on this landmark achievement of our anniversary. May the memory of our brethren past never be forgotten. May their good works guide the paths of those of us present. And may the Almighty God preserve our life to be able to celebrate many more fruitful years in our lifetime. Thank you all. Greetings all.
Upstanding while I go through your citation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our guest speaker at this 96th anniversary of our great club has been described as a man of ideas. Ideas rule the world. It is not about the number one acquires. It is if you have the power of ideas, the power to turn dream into reality. Nations become big based on ideas that turn things around. The developmental strides we have witnessed across all sectors in Borno State, despite the insurgency, is a testament to a man of ideas. Senator Kashim Shettima Mustafa is an academic, entrepreneur, banker of high visibility with experience working in Lagos, Kaduna, Abuja, and Maiduguri, and a politician of undoubted repute. Kashim, to many of us who don't know him, is a Lagos boy. He's at home. He's at home in Ikeja, straddling the city routes of Allen Avenue, Toyin Street, Okpebi, and of course Isaac John, as the head of accounts of Commercial Bank for Africa, and later as the manager of Africa International Bank Limited, Kaduna. Senator Kashim Shettima Mustafa was born on the 2nd of September 1966 in Maiduguri, Borno State, to the family of Shettima Mustafa Kutayibe. Shettima attended La Missoula Primary School in Maiduguri from 1972 to 1978, Government Community Secondary School, BU, in southern Borno from 1978 to 1980, and was transferred to Government Side Secondary School, Potiskum now in Yobe State, where he completed his secondary education in 1983. He studied at the University of Maiduguri and obtained a degree in agricultural economics in 1989. He did his NYC at the defunct Nigerian Agricultural Cooperative Bank, Calabar, Cross River, from 1989 to 1990. He went further to obtain a master's degree in agricultural economics in 1991 from the University of Ibadan. Shettima joined the services of the University of Maiduguri as a lecturer in the Department of Agricultural Economics from 1991 to 1993. In 1993, he moved into the banking sector and was employed by now-defunct Commercial Bank for Africa as the head of accounts from 1993 to 1997. In 1997, he moved to the African International Bank as a deputy manager, rose to become a manager in 2001, before moving to Zenith Bank as head of its main Maiduguri branch. At the Zenith Bank, he rose to senior manager branch head, AGM zonal head Northeast, and DGM zonal head Northeast, before he stepped out of Zenith Bank as a general manager in 2007 when he was appointed as Borno State Commissioner for Finance by former Governor Ali Modu Sharif. Shettima was later moved to the Ministries of Local Governments and Chieftaincy Affairs, Education, Agriculture, and later Health under Sharif's administration. In February 2011, Shettima was elected as the All Nigerian People's Party Borno governorship candidate after Modu Fanami Gubio, the AMPP candidate, was shot dead by gunmen. On April 26, 2011, Shettima won the governorship election with 531,147 votes, while the PDP candidate, Mohammed Goni, placed second with 450,140 votes. He served 2 terms as governor of Borno State. Shettima's 2 term in office as governor was dominated by the deadly Boko Haram insurgency. He didn't let this dissuade him. In fact, he solely funded 20,000 civilian joint task force fighters for 6 years in the fight against the insurgents. His contributions have been acknowledged by the military, security stakeholders, past and incumbent federal administrations, as well as residents of Borno State. His funding of the civilian GTF was crucial in the fight against Boko Haram, as the group played and still plays crucial roles in intelligence, easy identification, and arrest of suspected insurgents, and supporting the military in war fronts. In February 2019, Shettima was elected as a senator representing Borno Central at the National Assembly. And on the 10th of July 2022, the presidential candidate of All Progressive Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, confirmed Shettima as his running mate for the 2023 presidential poll on the APC platform. His Excellency, Senator Kashim Shettima Mustafa, an effective consensus builder and an honest political strategist, enjoyed the trust and confidence of his colleagues and mentees, amongst whom is the current governor of Borno State, Engineer Professor Babagana Umara Zulum, MNI, my very good friend and colleague as rector of the Ramat Polytechnic Maiduguri, who was appointed Pioneer Commissioner for Reconstruction, Rehabilitation, and Resettlement by Governor Shettima. Our guest speaker was proud of his mentees and spoke so glowingly of Zulum as follows, quote, "One of my attractions to Zulum was the fact that despite being in control of billions of naira for reconstruction of thousands of homes, schools, and hospitals, Zulum neither bought a personal house nor a personal car for himself. He also came under attack from Boko Haram twice, but that didn't stop him in his efforts to rebuild substantial parts of Borno," unquote. Our guest speaker, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Senator Kashim Mustafa, has a very deep understanding of Nigeria and her complexities. There is hardly any tribe in Nigeria that Kashim Shettima cannot knowledgeably speak about. He knows the social, cultural, religious, economic, and political structure of virtually all the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. He has proven to be extremely patriotic, and he believes passionately in the unity of Nigeria, proving it on a number of occasions. A former banker, agricultural economist, businessman, governor, and parliamentarian, is a highly cerebral, eloquent, competent, courageous, and cosmopolitan leader who has succeeded in building bridges, reputation, and friendships across the country. You can testify to that from his headgear, the headgear that is building bridges across. There is no doubt that his selection as the vice presidential candidate of APC was not made to please one community or the other. Our guest speaker would have been chosen as the man who can help bring the best governance to all Nigerians, regardless of their religious affiliation or considerations of ethnicity or region. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please join me as I invite our guest speaker, husband to Nana, with a union of 3 children, a man of capacity, acumen, political sagacity, a progressive politician of distinction, pious and excellent in his ways, His Excellency Senator Kashim Shettima Mustapha, immediate past governor, Borno State, and APC vice presidential candidate, to present the 96th anniversary lecture of the Yoruba Tennis Club. Your Excellency, sir.
I'm not a governor, and greetings, chairman of the Yoruba Tennis Club. Greetings, vice chairman of the Yoruba Tennis Club. Greetings, the vice patron and trustees of Yoruba Tennis Club. Greetings, the trustees and elders and members of Yoruba Tennis Club. Greetings, my brother, Mr. Governor, Brother Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Greetings, the Deputy Governor, Brother Dr. Pemi Hamzat, although he's not wearing the... Are you a member? Greetings, Brother Ambassador Musiliu Obanikoro. Greetings, Brother Alhaji Lawal Mutiu Are, Secretary, PSC, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Later inviting me as guest speaker of the 96th Algerian history. Many of them have since passed, while many of these are still very much with us. But there is no gainsaying the fact that these were outstanding individuals who made a mark on our national life. It is therefore a unique privilege to be invited by your august body to join that very distinguished cast as your guest speaker on this 96th anniversary lecture. Thanks a lot for finding me suitable. I feel very honored to be amongst you this morning. The title of my speech today is Social Clubs and the Search for National Cohesion in Nigeria. I have deliberately chosen this as a topic because of the incredible role that your club and its members have played in the history of our country. The Yoruba Tennis Club came into being, from what I gathered, in 1926. It is therefore the oldest indigenous social club in Nigeria. The context of its emergence must be reaffirmed in order to understand it better, as well as to be able to situate it within the broad historical sweep of the developments of the 1920s in the British colonial system. By the 1920s, Lagos had been consolidated not only as the capital of colonial Nigeria, it was also the home of a multitude of indigenous Nigerian professionals, lawyers, accountants, medical doctors, surveyors, engineers, journalists, nurses, etc. It was also the city of railway workers, post and telegraph staff, civil servants, and sundry workmen of all hues. We must also recall that 3 years earlier, the first political party had been established in 1923, headed by the man we all favorably remember as the father of Nigerian nationalism, Herbert Macaulay, the doyen of Lagos politics of the period. That party was the Nigerian National Democratic Party, NNDP. As a matter of fact, the period of the 1920s into the 1930s saw a vibrant political climate in Lagos, which provided the backdrop to the consolidation of groups like the Yoruba Tennis Club. It was also here that the Nigerian Youth Movement, NYM, was founded in 1938 as the second political party to be established in the city. It will not be a surprise that some of the leading members of these political parties were probably also active members of the Yoruba Tennis Club. A city with the vibrancy of Lagos of the 1920s had no equal anywhere on the west coast of Africa, not Accra, not Freetown. Such a vibrant city needed a platform of leisure, relaxation, and places of social interaction and sporting activities too. But the colonial system was basically a racist system. The British colonial system had instituted segregated and exclusive clubs here in Lagos, to which Africans were denied membership and entry. By the early 1920s, on the site of the present Lagos Lawn Tennis Club was situated that exclusive colonial tennis club. Whatever academic or social attainments of the African or Nigerian of the time did not matter to the racist minds of colonial times. They were excluded from these exclusive clubs. This was the background to the formation of the Yoruba Tennis Club. The founders took up the challenge of colonial discrimination by combining their talents and intellect to create this club. And from the beginning, they were committed to the promotion of the spirit of brotherhood, fellowship, and the healthy development of the mind and body in a congenial social setting and through the playing of games, especially that of lawn tennis, as the website noted. It was also poignant to note that while it was agreed that this was a Yoruba Tennis Club, again, as your website underlined, it was never the intention of the founding fathers to restrict its membership to those of Yoruba origin alone. The chairman just cited the case of Malam Isa Yuguda, the former executive governor of Bauchi State, as a member of this club. They ensured that the outlook and activities of the club reflected its cosmopolitan nature. A review of the composition of its membership from its inception to date showed that the club has faithfully kept to this. I was quite delighted that the first officers of the club, elected at a meeting on September 15, 1926, truly reflected the cosmopolitan culture that has distinguished Lagos from the moment that it began to receive returnees from the slave trade from Brazil, Cuba, United States, Liberia, and Sierra Leone from about the middle of the 19th century. What is clear to my mind is that the act of setting up an indigenous club by the pioneers of the Yoruba Tennis Club was in fact an act of defiance of colonial arrogance and racism. And in a very fundamental sense, It was also a reflection of the new spirit of African and Nigerian assertiveness, which was to become the very basis for the emergence of the anti-colonial movement. And as we all know, this city of Lagos is where all the remarkable individuals that became the champions of the movement for independence and Nigerian nationalism honed their skills, as well as build the powerful movements that opened up the access for our national independence in 1960. So a direct line can be drawn from the efforts to build this club and the talents mustered to achieve our independence. Having established this background, it is clear to me that the title that I have selected for my speech is very relevant: social clubs and the search for national cohesion in Nigeria. A club like the Yoruba Tennis Club aggregates the most important sections of the elite. Historically, this hallowed precinct has brought together the very best and most distinguished members of the professions and the leading lights of the community in Lagos. And because you are the pioneers, several other bodies emerged all over Nigeria that took inspiration from your endeavor. You showed Nigerians in other cities that it was possible to come together as members of a modern and modernizing elite in associations and in clubs to promote healthy existence that work well for the human mind and for societal progress. Similarly, you have also taught the lesson of enduring legacy. Your distinguished club has survived all the challenges of the past 96 years. When the founding fathers began the determined effort to build a tennis club, they were also making a statement for the competence of Africans under a colonial project which treated Nigerians with a fair amount of contempt. They successfully initiated their project and kept it alive, while a succession of leaders has kept this remarkable club alive and vibrant till today. That statement of success and continuity is a lesson which we must take on board if we are to build a great country. All of us are aware of the incredible potentials that we possess as a country. A huge population of very vibrant and hardworking people, a resource-rich and diverse country, generally claiming weather and huge tracts of arable land, as well as remarkable bodies of water that traverse the whole country. These are potential riches that can be harnessed to build a great country. But we all know that over the past 6 decades, we have had cycles of good and very bad in the pursuit of our destiny. As a country with the largest concentration of Black and African peoples on earth, Nigeria's problems are many. They range from the legacies associated with colonialism, the suspicions that dog our efforts at nationhood, and the choices that a succession of leaders has pursued since our independence. Suffice it to say that one of the greatest challenges that we have dealt with is the regular inability to build the elite consensus about the best ways to organize our country, as well as the concomitant path of development appropriate to its diversity. For too long, the Nigerian elites have not sufficiently given a thought to how their actions and inactions impact upon the construction of the processes of national development. The bickerings over access to the levers of power has historically stoked the basest instincts amongst our different elite groups. This is especially true when the political elite comes together in the pursuit of political power. So divided has the pursuit of power been in our history that the conduct of politics has been made more like warfare, where every form of weapons of mass destruction has often been deployed. And because the pursuit of political power has resembled warfare much more than a civic engagement, the actions and wars of members of the political elite have done more to hurt the ideas of national cohesion more than they have enhanced them. Of course, the pursuit of political power has never been a tea party in any clime. The difference in our setting is that we have seen politics without leech, without responsibility as the default mode. Our political elites, therefore, behave with a zero-sum game mentality, which in the short and long run has been based on the manipulation and exploitation of the fault lines of Nigerian society to enhance political access. This is one of the many reasons that we have continued to experience the harms inflicted upon the cohesion of our country. In a lecture delivered earlier this week at the Arewa House in Kaduna, Professor Al-Qasim Abba of the Department of History, Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, surveyed the Nigerian political landscape and stated that contemporary Nigeria is facing a political challenge. I think it is imperative that we draw the attention of Nigerians, particularly our politicians, about this political challenge that has been dragging our politics down the drain, drenching us into incessant political violence, undermining our national unity, integration, and ultimately economic, social, and political progress. The predicament that this problem has refused to go away, it is rocking around since the period of our struggle for independence. It has become something like a malignant cancer that keeps on eating deeper and deeper into the fabric of our society, year in, year out, inflicting pain and division on us, generation after generation, and government after government, in spite of whoever is occupying the mantle of leadership. Abba, a contemporary Nigerian politics and the ghost of politics of the independence struggle, Arewa House Lecture Series, September 10, 2022. The quotation above from Professor Abba cuts to the heart of the reality of Nigerian politics. Members of the political elites, and this includes myself, must begin the process of a rethink of the content, values, and modus operandi of politicking in our country. This is in order to imbue politics with ever more patriotic content which speaks to the advancement of the welfare of the Nigerian people, as well as working for national unity and national cohesion. We must accept the fact that leadership recruitment, especially in the realm of politics and the public space in general, has become increasingly devalued in our country. Several reasons have often been adduced for this problem, but what is imperative is that we have to make a collective resolve to improve the qualifications that earn individuals the right to play important roles in the processes of national development. If a country chooses to go for the lowest common denominator in its process of leadership recruitment, then it cannot expect to get sterling qualities in the inputs and outputs of such individuals. They will drag the country down to their own levels, and they will certainly endanger national cohesion. I believe that we must get our politics right in the same patriotic manner that the founding fathers of the Yoruba Tennis Club and their successors got the club right and have kept it alive over the past 96 years. In my view, social clubs like the Yoruba Tennis Club have a major role to play in the process of national cohesion in our country. The reason is very simple. In every corner of Nigeria, there are several social groups that bring together our various groups of elites in the professions, in the public and private sectors, and even in the traditional cultural realms. The environment of the social club is one of consensus building that is built upon the aggregation of the experiences, knowledge, and the abilities of their membership. Consensus building amongst our political elite is very deficient. It is therefore not a coincidence that social clubs have long-lasting staying power, while the political process has faltered at several points in our history. In almost every instance, social clubs have operated as law-governed entities, and the membership do not only subscribe freely to these rules, they also work collectively to uphold them faithfully. They are an example of appreciable governance systems often with periodic elections of their leaderships, and in generally open and transparent manner. It is also to the eternal credit of social clubs, like our host, the Yoruba Tennis Club, that they have been more than committed to national cohesion in practice than in empty political plight, rhetorical plights. That is a hallmark of political speak in our country. In recent years, we have witnessed increasingly alarming tendencies towards the loss of belief in the idea of national cohesion among some elite groups in our country. The truth is that nation building is continuously in Nigeria, needs the competencies of a leader, like Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to trigger the requisite values that can help us to rededicate ourselves and all our compatriots to the challenges of national cohesion in Nigeria. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the roads that took us to Ashwaju did not happen by chance. This is a man who had shown a ferocious commitment to national cohesion and well-being of this nation. We are at a very critical conjuncture in the history of our dear nation. And times like this requires us to
Hello there, this is Biscon Television broadcasting from Lagos. Here's the news, read by Bisi Olatilo. Kano Resident Electoral Commissioner urges security neutrality ahead of by-elections. Federal government approves 9 new private universities across Nigeria. In business news, Dangote marketers reach deal on fuel distribution after tensions. In the foreign news, aid groups urge Israel to end restrictions on Gaza relief. Sports news, PSG begin League One defense amid Pogba's return and Paris FC's rise. Now, the news in detail. The federal government has approved the establishment of 9 new private universities, marking a significant step in expanding higher education opportunities in Nigeria. Education Minister Dr. Tunji Alausa announced the decision after Wednesday's Federal Executive Council meeting chaired by President Bola Tinubu. The newly approved institutions include Takia University in Kaduna, Leadership University in Abuja, Jimo Babalola University in Kwara, Bridget University in Imo, Greenland University in Jigawa, Jeffap University in Niger, Azione Verde University in Imo, Unique Open University in Lagos, and American Open University in Ogun State. Alausa explained that the approvals followed a strict vetting process that cut down 551 pending applications to 79 active requests, with 9 cleared in this phase. The minister noted that many of these universities had waited over 6 years for accreditation, with promoters investing heavily in infrastructure. He blamed the delays on inefficiencies within the National Universities Commission, which have been addressed through reforms. To ensure quality control, the government has also placed a moratorium on new applications for private universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education, unless they meet updated operational standards. Ahead of Saturday's by-elections in Kano State, Resident Electoral Commissioner Abdul Zango has called on security agencies to maintain neutrality and avoid political bias. Speaking at a meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, Zango urged agencies to work together in ensuring a free, fair, and credible process for the Kwara, Dantage, rerun and Bagwai Shanono by-elections. He commended post-collaborative efforts that safeguarded elections and stressed the importance of protecting voters' rights and ensuring peaceful participation. The Kano State Police Commissioner Ibrahim Bakori has assured citizens of comprehensive security before, during, and after the polls. The meeting reviewed deployment strategies, addressed past challenges, and finalized plans for clearance operations across the state. Representatives from the INEC, the police, army, air force, DSS, NSDC, immigration, customs, NDLEA, FRSC, EFCC, fire service, defense intelligence, NYSC, and other agencies attended the meeting, underlining a broad commitment to secure a credible election. The Youth Arise movement, YAM, has condemned the arrest of 48 students in Bauchi who staged a peaceful protest over worsening security around the campus. The protest, held on Tuesday, sought urgent government intervention following repeated armed robbery attacks targeting students. Instead of engaging with their concerns, security operatives reportedly dispersed the demonstrators with tear gas and detained them. YM National Coordinator, Comrade Babatunde Ademola, described the arrest as a violation of the students' constitutional rights to peaceful assembly and free expression. Ademola stressed that students' call for safety were legitimate and protected under the 1999 Constitution, warning against the suppression of civic voices. YM demanded the immediate release of all detained students, dropping of charges, and an independent probe into the insecurity that prompted the protest. The group urged civil society, academic bodies, and human rights organizations to unite in seeking justice, warning that silencing youth activism undermines democracy and accountability. You're watching Biscon TV News, now business news. Dangote Petroleum Refinery has reached an agreement with petroleum marketers and tanker drivers to distribute fuel through existing channels, easing fears of job losses. The deal followed concerns from the National Oil and Gas Suppliers Association of Nigeria, NOGASA, that Dangote's planned direct-to-consumer supply would disrupt the nationwide distribution network. NOGASA and the National Association of Road Transport Owners, NATO, confirmed that Dangote will sell only to bulk buyers, not end users, preserving the supply chain and protecting existing investments in distribution infrastructure. NOGASA members are now registering on the refinery's portal to purchase products in bulk, with 4,000 compressed natural gas-powered trucks set for deployment. Dangote Industries Vice President for Oil and Gas, Dan Kumba, said the trucks aim to cut logistics costs and pass fuel price reductions to consumers, not displace current players. The move is also seen as an environmentally friendly shift in the petroleum supply chain. You're watching Biscon TV News. Next, foreign news. Over 100 humanitarian organizations, including Oxfam and Médecins Sans Frontières, have accused Israel of weaponizing aid to Gaza as starvation worsens. In a joint letter, they said stricter Israeli regulations have blocked them from delivering essential supplies since March, unless they comply with conditions such as providing staff details and avoiding criticism of Israel. The groups alleged that in July alone, over 68 requests were denied, leaving hospitals without medicine and vulnerable populations facing preventable deaths from hunger and illness. Israel denies imposing unnecessary restrictions, insisting its rules prevent Hamas from diverting supplies. It says nearly 308 trucks enter Gaza daily via registered NGOs, though the UN estimates 600 are needed. Critics argue the new guidelines threaten aid agencies' independence and humanitarian neutrality. The dispute comes as Israel intensifies bombardment of Gaza City in its campaign against Hamas, with health officials reporting tens of thousands killed since the conflict began. Now, sports news. Paris Saint-Germain kick off their Ligue 1 title defense this weekend after a short summer break, buoyed by the Champions League and UEFA Super Cup triumphs. Coach Louis Enrique has said consecutive European titles as a priority, even as PSG remains favourites for a 12th domestic crown in 14 years. The squad has been reinforced with goalkeeper Louis Chaffet and defender Louis Esbrian, but fatigue from a 65-match season could be a factor. Elsewhere, Monaco had signed Paul Pogba on a 2-year deal, giving the 32-year-old a chance to revive his career after injury and a doping ban. Paris FC, backed by the billionaire Arnold family, make their Ligue 1 debut in 35 years, reigniting a capital derby, with PSG Lyon, having survived financial relegation, face budget cuts, while Marseille and Monaco aim to challenge the champions in a season also overshadowed by France's ongoing football broadcast rights crisis. Now, entertainment news. Aviation Minister Festus Keyamo has defended the decision to appoint Fuji music star K1, the ultimate, as an aviation security ambassador following his recent unruly behavior at the airport. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority reduced Kwamwan's flight ban to 1 month after he showed public remorse, with Keyamo likening the role to community service, a voluntary unpaid position aimed at promoting good conduct among passengers. Keyamo noted that airline operators are also considering appointing Comfort Emerson, the Ibom Air passenger recently discharged from court, as an ambassador for passenger etiquette. He stressed that such appointments are not privileges but corrective measures to discourage similar incidents. The minister maintained that the decision was fair and consistent with global practices of engaging repentant offenders in public awareness roles. And that's it on Biscon TV News for now. That's produced by Ayomide Animation. My name is BC Olatilo. Thanks very much for watching.
Requires specific administrative skill sets and economic acumen and track records for any leader to excel. In 2023, we need a Nigerian leader that has the humility and generosity of spirit of a Yakubu Gowon. We need a leader that has the self-abnegating commitment of a Muhammadu Buhari. We need a leader that has the work ethics and broad-mindedness of an Olusegun Obasanjo. We need a leader that has the adroitness, the situational pragmatism, and understanding of the Nigerian sociology, the Maradonic skills of an Ibrahim Babangida. We need a leader with the presence and sense of responsibility and commitment, and somebody who understands the national psyche and mood of the nation, Oban Abdul Salami Abu Bakr. And in applicable circumstances, we need a leader with a dose of ruthlessness and taciturnity of Sani Abacha. Leaders, nice men do not make leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, we need a leader with the intellectual acumen, with the track set to catapult this nation to a higher pedestal. We need a leader who is not bound by toxic regional or religious sentiments. We need a leader that has established track records of excellence and commitment to good governance. There is no one, with all due respect, that fits this bill better than Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Nigerians of the younger generation must be in the know of the sacrifices made by this gentleman for the enthronement of democracy in this country. When we were passing through our darkest hours of military dictatorship, this gentleman made his resources available for the fight for the enthronement of democracy in this country. And even in his first term as the governor of Lagos State, it wasn't easy. The peer of Lagos 20, 30 years ago, the peer of Lagos for an average northerner was the beginning of wisdom. When you get into Lagos, at Obanikoro, Maryland, there is a statue of a man that says, "This is Lagos." When he became the governor of Lagos, Lagos was a very huge slum, with all due respect to Your Excellency. There was only one ambulance available in the service of the Lagos State Minister of Health. Lagos was earning 600 million naira monthly as the IGR. Because of the quality of governance and the successes that he has mentored over the years, Lagos is now the fifth largest economy in Africa and is projected to be the third largest economy by the end of the decade. I was corrected from the government house when I quoted a wrong figure. Lagos is now generating 61 billion naira monthly as IGR. And tourists are coming from the west coast of Africa. Lagos is 3,000 people get into Lagos every day that do not go out. The likes of Peter Obi, they do not call Ekulobia home. Peter Obi calls Lagos home, due to the magnanimity and generosity of spirit of the Lagos people. Do you have any better leader to elect that understands the economy? The world is careering towards a recession in 2023. The British economy is on the brink of getting into recession. Things will not be easy. A lot needs to be done to reposition the Nigerian economy. And who is better placed than Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to do that? And for me, as someone from the north, we have a moral obligation to support this gentleman. People say anything goes in politics. There is honor even among thieves. There is honor even amongst politicians. In 4 electoral cycles, this man supported the emergence of northern Nigerian candidates for the presidency of this country. He has been and has ever remained a sanctuary for victims of political witch hunt. When his AD colleagues were blood-drawn and roasted and forced into political extinction by the wily old general from O, he had the wit, he had the guts, he had the wisdom, he had the strength. He stood his ground, checkmated the excesses of the PDP, and at the end of the day, in 2003, he was the lone man standing. Viciously harassed and intimidated, his local government funds were denied, and that was the time he laid the foundations for a modern Lagos. From his lonely but active Lagos redoubt, he began the process of demystification and deconstruction and demythologization of the PDP regime machine in the Southwest. By 2021, he had largely purified, disinfected the Southwest from the putrid smell of the PDP. And that culminated eventually in the formation of the APC in 2013-2014. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in 2014, we were here in Lagos for the presidential primaries of the APC. Without the block votes generated by Ashwaju from the Southwest, President Buhari couldn't have emerged as the presidential candidate of the APC. And in the 2015 elections, President Buhari defeated former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan by a mere 2 million votes. And the 2.5 million votes that we defeated Jonathan came from the Southwest. So we owe a debt of gratitude to the Southwest. While others were manipulating ethno-regional sentiments, the fault lines that divide this country for their political aims, Ashwaju was rather investing his minds and resources on building bridges. While others manipulate our differences, he was trying to build bridges across the Niger. That is how all of us owe that debt of gratitude to him. When Atiku Abubakar was harassed and chased out of the PDP, it was to Bodilon he ran to. It was here in Lagos that Ashwaju provided him with the sanctuary and the platform to contest for the presidency of this country. 4 years later, that same platform was offered to another northern Nigerian, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, to contest for the presidency of this country. In 2015 and 2019, he supported President Muhammadu Buhari to win election to the presidency of this country. Ashwaju is a force of nature. As Victor Hugo, the French philosopher, said, nothing else in the world, not all the army, is possible of stopping for an idea whose time has come. Ashwaju is an idea whose time has come. Emilokong is for real. By God's grace, we are going to support him to succeed in the next upcoming election. I'm proud of the Yorubas. Incidentally, I'm a Kanuri man that traces the same ancestry with the Yorubas. You have never allowed religion to divide you. They have been talking so much about the Muslim ticket. Yes, Ashwaju's running mate is a Muslim, but his life mate of 40 years is not only a Christian, but a senior pastor of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. Ashwaju's children Half of them are Christians. So how can you convince someone that Ashwaju is going to Islamize Nigeria when he did not Islamize his own family? For God's sake, this is cheap politicking. The vice presidential candidate of the PDP was slamming the Muslim ticket yesterday in Abuja. But he conveniently forgot the fact that the senatorial candidate of his own senatorial zone in Delta North senatorial zone is 99% Christian. But the person that he has fielded, Nate Nwoko, is a Muslim. He has not seen anything wrong with doing that. We need to build a new Nigeria where we should judge someone by the content of his character, irrespective of differences in political affiliations, religious persuasion, sectional or tribal background. The problem that confront us doesn't discriminate. Insecurity, poverty, knows no Ibibio man or Hausa man. We need to move this nation forward. The country is at a crossroad. Let us elect a man who knows the road. That is the fundamental argument. This is a great nation in chains, chained by ineptitude, chained by corruption. And we need to get things right. It's no longer a lottery, no. I assure you, by God's grace, we'll hit the ground running from day one because we don't have the luxury of time. I urge you, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let us come on board. Let us fuse into one. Rome was not destroyed by outside invaders. Rome was destroyed by the complacency of the Romans. Lagos, with proper coordination and planning, is capable of generating 4 million votes for Ashwaju. The registered voters in Lagos is well over 7 million, if I am right. So, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 elections, as I said, are just a few months ago. Nigeria has a choice to make in the determination of our destiny. Our ticket, the Tinubu-Shettima APC presidential ticket, is dedicated to the building of that progressive ambience that will allow us to harness the very best and most creative, most talented Nigerians from all corners of our country. Currently, the Lagos State Commissioner for Portuary Infrastructure is a Hausa man from Katsina State. One of the commissioners is an Urobo man from Delta. Joy Ibokwe is an Igbo man from Anambra as a special advisor. Ben Akabweze was once the commissioner for budget and planning in Lagos. Lagos is a mini Nigeria. We have to applaud you. We have to commend you. We have to celebrate you for having the largeness of heart to embrace all tendencies. Ashwaju's chief of staff at the time was Lai Mohammed from Kwara State. My friend James Abiodun Paleke is from Kogi State. He is a member representing Ikeja Federal Constituency. Wale Edun, the Commissioner of Finance, was from Ogun State. So also was Professor Yemi Osibanjo, the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice for 8 years. Raub Aregbeshola was a very powerful commissioner for works and transport. He's from Osun State. Bamidele Opidele, my friend, Senator Michael Opeyemi Bamidele, is from Ekiti State. I can roll out names of people from different parts of the Federation that had occupied positions of relevance and importance in Lagos. And he has established track records of achievement. The conversations we are prepared to have, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, are not mundane, pedestrian obsessions with the mundane, no. We want to have comparison of ideas and track records. What can we do to reposition the Nigerian economy? It's much more important than which religion or which tribe Mr. XYZ belongs to. We need to build a modern Nigeria because the trajectory of global growth is facing Africa. Most of the Asian tigers have matured. Singapore, Malaysia, even China has an aging population, but Africa's average age is 19. 70% of Nigeria's population are below the age of 30, 35. Here we have the Brazilian consul here in Lagos with us. Let's compare equals. Let's see how the Brazilian economy is booming, while ours is chained by ineptitude, mediocrity, and corruption. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I want to most sincerely thank this club, this venerable club, for giving me the platform to pontificate my ideas. We will not lie low, we will not sink low to their levels. We want to have real conversations for national development. And believe me, with your support, with your guidance, we shall succeed. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come. Thank you so much for giving me
for some little stipend. A consummate banker, articulate, intelligent, less than that from a teacher, for some brief remarks. Mr. Governor.
Long live the chairman of Yoruba Tennis Club. Long live the vice patron, the trustees of Yoruba Tennis Club. Long live the past chairman of Yoruba Tennis Club. Long live our brethren of Yoruba Tennis Club. And greetings all. Let me, on your behalf, welcome a Lagos welcome to a thoroughbred Nigerian, a Lagosian at some point of time in his life. By the grace of God, our incoming Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, my very good friend, my brother, my former colleague in the banking industry, and a man that I've come to respect tremendously, distinguished Senator Kashim Shettima Mustafa. Thank you very, very much, sir. Let me, on behalf of the people, the government, and of course, Yoruba Tennis Club, welcome you once again to the Center of Excellence. Welcome you to the state of aquatic splendor. Welcome you to the melting point of our country, to the economic and commercial nerve center of our country, and welcome you to a place by Almighty God will also become home to you by this time next year. As you can see, we have made a right choice in Yoruba Tennis Club. In today's annual lecture, by inviting our vice presidential candidate, he has rolled out for us the history of our Greek club and how the interchange of social inclusion had been a trajectory of our greater Lagos. He has espoused the intellectual acumen, his mental sagacity, and his ability to support our presidential candidate. He has demonstrated to us this morning there is a round hole in a round peg. And he's a man of tremendous, tremendous capacity. And he's a man that we truly believe will help and earn everything that demands of that seat. It's not just sheer politics, but sheer capacity that the two of them are bringing to bear. As a financial wizard himself, and is a man that understands the real issues regarding the economy. And so, Mr. Chairman and other committee members, I want to congratulate you and thank you for inviting Senator Kashim Ibrahim here into today's lecture. And I want to say that indeed, it's been an eye-opener, not to me alone, but to all of us. And if we talk about history, Borno State and Lagos State comes way back. For people that do not know, during the governorship time of our father, late Alhaji Lateef Jakonde, and his own father then, late Alhaji Goni, there was a lot of synergy between Lagos State and Borno State. In fact, the record shows that Lagos State borrowed Borno State money at some point, which they paid back, way back in the early 80s. And they were able to do comparison and share and peer review by our forefathers over 40 years ago. History is also being beckoned here today. And the same son from Borno and the son here in Lagos are being joined together on this trajectory to bring about a bigger Nigeria. Our prayer is that as both of you have started on this journey, it will lead to the success of this country. And I had mentioned it, and it's important for us to put it in perspective and in context. The issue and the talk about a Muslim ticket, we've seen it, that there is nothing there. I'm a Christian. My wife is a Christian. But we know too well here that it is not about religion. And we have forgotten, like you mentioned, in 2011, when ACN, or AC at that time, also gave a platform to Mama Nuru Ribadu. His deputy vice presidential candidate then was Mr. Fola Adiola. It was a joint Muslim ticket. We did not see any problem at that time. But suddenly, because there's a likelihood of this ticket emerging as the winner, now people now want to divide us. People want to split us. We will say no, because that is not who we are. It's about leadership. It's about character. It's about audacity to think. It's about the ability to be able to think big and solve problems. And he had said so. He's not contesting for an Olympic race. He's not contesting to be the strongest sprinter. He's contesting to have idea discussion, to have the courage to lead, to have the tenacity to give instruction, and he has the ability to make difficult decisions and difficult conversations. That's what leadership is. That's what true leadership is. And I believe in this theme will indeed bring about the birth of a stronger and a bigger nation. We do not want to despise other candidates. We all know too well what their antecedents are. We all know too well what their credentials are. But we know that as a nation, we need a strong launch pad. We need to think out of the box and be able to put our best foot forward. I want to thank the leadership of Yoruba Tennis Club again for making the right choice of inviting Senator Kashim Shettima. My prayer and my wish, we're celebrating 96 years now. By 2026, let it be on record that during your centenary celebration, we'll have by the grace of God, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu come in here to the greetings hall to celebrate as the president on our centenary. And of course, by your grace and your support, I will still remain as your 15th governor to come in here and celebrate in 4 years' time, in good spirit, and all of you will be here doing that celebration with sound mind. And we'll all look back and say that indeed it's been a journey that is worth it. The history of the Yoruba Tennis Club is a long and a rich history. This is a club that has birthed men that have shaped nations, that have shaped territories. It's a call that we're making on you again. You have all it takes. You have the capacity, you have the reach, you have the influence at your various sphere of endeavor to make this happen. I'm sorry to say, Yoruba cannot afford to let this also slip by again. We deserve it. Lagos deserves it. Lagos requires it. And it will be, by the grace of God, a bigger, a better, a stronger nation and state that all of you will be truly, truly proud of to have been part of. Greetings all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please, we would have an interactive session now. May I appeal to you? I hope you understand. Please go straight. Go from the right-hand side here and one from this other.
We're informed at Yoruba Tennis Club of this lecture and the topic, which speaks of social clubs and search for national cohesion. It occurred to some of us that a sine qua non for national cohesion necessarily must be a very strong structure. Many students of the Constitution have noted for over 20 years that the 1999 Constitution, which we operate, is defective in two ways. One, because it was imposed on the people, and secondly, because if you study the distribution of the legislative powers, it is in absolute violence to what the distribution is in every federal nation, including the US, that we know. I took the liberty before this lecture as well to go way back to 2015 to take a look at the manifesto of the APC in 2015. And the very first promise in that manifesto was a promise that the government, if an APC government is elected, will amend the Constitution in order to make it more reflective of a federal structure in terms of revenue, in terms of security, in terms of the police, and what have you. So my respective question to Your Excellency, and let me say in passing that having come here today, you have the blessings and prayers of you and Asiwaju, and pray in terms of what the governor has stated, that when we celebrate 100 years, that we will be welcoming you in the capacities that you seek now. But the question is, regrettably, the APC did not fulfill that promise in 6-7 years of its governance. Will the incoming APC government of Asiwaju and your good self make it a #1 priority, not merely in your manifesto, but also go beyond it in the manifesto to state a timetable that it will follow in seeking and working towards an amendment of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to make it reflective of what it claims to be, a federation. Thank you very much.
Lecturer, I want to call you Senator KSM. Senator KSM, our next Vice President, inshallah. I served in the Northeast during national service chance. Please explain to us